Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
December 14, 2020, the Russia Hacks edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal. U.S. agencies were hacked in a foreign cyber espionage campaign allegedly linked to the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. Multiple federal government agencies, including Treasury and Commerce, have had their computer systems breached as part of a widespread cyber intelligence campaign believed to be the work of the Russian government. Russian foreign intelligence services are suspected of being behind the hacks of the U.S. government, in which some internal communications were believed to have been stolen. The operation is related to a cyber breach disclosed last week by the U.S.-based cybersecurity firm FireEye. The person said that several government agencies were compromised. Next up, from the Washington Post, Kevin Blackistone reporting on the NCAA and their complete abandonment of the safety and health of college athletes for the filthy lucre manon. And specifically referring to the basketball season this year. Of course, the football season has been an unmitigated disaster. And now basketball is facing the same issues. He was really writing this around Coach Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils, who have decided to forego the remainder of their non-conference schedule. And Coach K criticized the NCAA for really having no plan. And this, clearly, it's the great NCAA way to not have a plan. But the basketball plan has proved extraordinarily problematic in terms of the number of games canceled, the number of players who have come down with COVID, and really the lack of protections going forward. But of course, basketball is the second biggest revenue generator, so the NCAA is going to keep playing so the money keeps coming. Or as Evita Peron said, the money keeps rolling in. Next up, from the New York Times Deal Book, AstraZeneca is to buy Alexion for $39 billion to add rare disease treatments. The drug maker AstraZeneca agreed on Saturday to buy Alexion, a biopharmaceutical company, for $39 billion in cash and stock, as corporate giants resume big-ticket takeovers even amid the pandemic. The deal comes as AstraZeneca is in the final stages of testing a COVID-19 vaccine is developing with the University of Oxford, one of the most prominent candidates, but there have been some significant questions about the testing protocol. Through the deal for Alexion, the biggest by a healthcare company this year, AstraZeneca will bolster its offerings for rare diseases and like blood disorders. It comes as corporate boards have continued to regain confidence after battening down the hatches in the early stages of the coronavirus pandemic. You have to wonder what, if anything, they did from the compliance perspective in terms of pre-acquisition due diligence. And our final story today comes from the BBC as Brexit talks are not looking very good. They've agreed to extend the talks, but Boris Johnson said it's probably more likely we're going to have a no-deal Brexit, or at least that was what he said earlier this week, that was most likely. A no-deal Brexit, of course, is the worst disaster of all, but Boris Johnson doesn't seem to be in the mood to understand that this is a trade deal, and British independence is not impacted by a trade deal because a trade deal demonstrates interdependency between England and the EU going forward. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.